Tolu Smith here. Make sure y'all subscribe to my boy Downtown Deuce ASAP. Come on, man.
Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Yeah, Detroit. Destination restoration. Yeah, it's our time. Can you feel the elevation? We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination. Together all the time together. It's us against the world, it don't get no better. We turned it around, that was the beginning. Coming for the crown, you know we winning. Time to put in the work, I'm about to go for certain. Taking our prisoners, it's my time. Yeah, I know that it hurts. Tearing back out the church, you don't wanna see me in my prime. The mission is to ring, we're caught in everything. In the city, supporting the dream. Vision new I never seen, we deserve to be king. It's all or nothing, no in between. The clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Now the clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Feel the elevation. We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination.
Detroit basketball. What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Deuce Show with the boss. Happy March, man. Happy March. March is officially here. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, great end to your weekend. Boss, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like, it was a Sunday. It's nice. Fresh month. Pistons start the month with a win, so no complaints.
Yeah, no complaints in this game, man. Had his moments, right? But it came out with a dub for sure. Chat, we see y'all, man. We see you guys in the chat. You know, the Pistons won again. Shout out GMAC Cash. Y'all know what it is, man. We're going to get to as many comments as we possibly can. Guys, if we miss you, go ahead and repost, caps lock, super chat, whatever you got to do to get our attention. Go ahead and do that, and we will get to you. Let's go ahead and keep it going, boss. So if you guys missed this game, for anybody who didn't see this game tonight, the Pistons face off against the Magic in Orlando, and they pick up another dub, beating the Magic 106-92 to improve, boss, to a league best 45 now, 45-14 on the regular season. And as far as the injury report, Isaiah Stewart missed his final game, right? Or does he have one more? This was his last one, right? His last game, yeah. This was the final game. So his suspension, guys, is officially over. He returns to the court when the Pistons play the Cavs for the final time this year. And guys, 6-1 without Stu is impressive, man. That's impressive. We know how important he is to this team, but yeah, exactly, for sure. 6-1, that's impressive, man. So it'll be great to have him back on the floor, as well as, the Pistons have played without him, boss. His defense takes us to another level for sure. Yeah. And for the Magic, they were missing Franz Wagner and Anthony Black for this one. So they went with their usual starters of Cade, Dunk, Ausar, Tobias, and JD. So guys, as of right now, the poll is live as to who you guys thought should get the belt, think should get the belt. Should be an interesting poll this time around. I have my guesses, but we'll see how that goes. But boss, who do you think should get the belt in this game tonight from what you saw?
I'm gonna have to go with Tobias. I don't think, we really just he scored some major baskets in a row for us. The turnaround was just falling. He was the most consistent scorer for us tonight. So I'm gonna go with him.
I would agree, and we'll get to why, but I thought he played great in this game for sure. We definitely needed what he gave us. So boss, without further ado, let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? Let's get to the super chat first. Can't forget Doug. Doug always shows love. What up, Doug? What up, OG? Says magic number, pun intended, magic number is 17 to win the East. Boss behind 2.
Boston.
Boston's behind 2, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're in a good spot. So guys, let's go ahead and get to some initial thoughts. Without further ado, boss, what you got?
Yeah, I hated the way it started again. We just didn't come out and start strong. The Magic are always a team that we struggle with. I think it's the first we haven't won in Orlando since City Bay's big game. I think it's like 6 in a row, and so we finally just won that one. So yeah, we started off slow. The whistle was just so odd. It was so bizarre. Paolo Banchero was just getting everything he wanted when I feel like Cade does the same drives as him. But the second half was honestly, I think, the best basketball we've seen all week. Like it actually was consistent half. They went on a couple of runs, but we were able to shut it down. And I really am just glad that we were able to finish on that note. We won by 14, and not the prettiest game, but again, this is a team that gives us problems. So it's kind of like against the Magic, it's pretty big. And we shut down. We played much better defense on Banchero. So yeah, I just with the foul trouble, I think we fouled him a lot in the first half, and he held him to like a couple of free throws in the second half. But Cade tonight had 29, and if you take away his free throw makes, he ends with 24. And Paolo tonight had 24 total, and if you take away his free throw makes, he had 11.
That's insane. He had 24.
Paolo had 24 points total, but you take away his free throws.
13 free throws.
Yep, he made 13 of 14.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
so
insane.
he had 11 total, and again, take away Cade's free throw makes. He was 5 of 6, and he ends with what Paolo ended with.
Right.
24.
That's
so
crazy.
It was just kind of crazy.
Everybody can't be ethical, boss.
Right, I know. Well, they definitely made that apparent. Like I'm sure lots of people saw Desmond Bane jumping sideways, and that's why they didn't call it on him.
I love that.
This team is, I think, one of the dirtier teams in the league. Still, even with getting
diving at legs.
And Franz isn't on there. I'm glad that we were able to shut down a ball. Jalen Suggs. It's about time Jalen, to pop off against us and be the new like Caruso, but no. So we definitely picked it up in the second half and finished strong.
For sure. What up, Camille? Camille says, much love, everyone. 3 for 9 from 3 in the third quarter and 1 for 21 in the others. I feel sick to my stomach, to be honest. Yeah, for sure, bro. It was definitely tough sledding shooting the basketball, but that actually is part of my silver lining, which I'll get to in this game for sure. So first things first, the Pistons are 21-7 on the road, boss. That's the league best.
Yes.
League best, man. They didn't lose in February at all on the road. 4-0. That's very impressive. So I was expecting them to continue that trend, get the dub tonight, and they did, right? Like you said, though, it wasn't glamorous at all. It was two hard-nosed, gritty teams. What up, Tom? 2 hard-nosed, gritty teams. And there was not a ton of flow early in this game. The effort I thought was there, right? Just the execution was not. And you talked about it already, but the Pistons started off this game 0 for 15 from 3. Yeah. 0 for 15 from 3. And a lot of those shots were good shots. A lot of them were in rhythm. A lot of them were open. Wasn't a ton of contested shots or bad shots. They just couldn't throw it in the ocean. Yeah. So I felt like the energy and effort is what kept them attached in the first half, right? But the reason that they never led in that first half is because they couldn't knock down shots. So I felt like at halftime, to me, you let me know what you think. But it's just kind of like the coaching staff and JB just kind of said, let's just execute in the half court to start.
Yeah.
And then we'll come down and get stops, right? Let's string some possessions together on both sides first. It's going to be a slow-paced game. We're not really getting out in transition like we usually do. We'll get there eventually, but let's just settle down, stop shooting so many threes, and let's just play well in the half court, and then we can build from there, set our defense up from there, and then we can get stops. So that, for me, that was a big part of why I thought they were able to kind of change the game, because in the half court is where Tobias Harris shines. Yeah. Right? He saw one shot go in, and he followed that up with a tough midi after that on the next play. And that's what helped the Pistons kind of get into a rhythm. They were able to kind of get into a rhythm, set their defense up, establish pace, and just play their game, right? Build confidence, which just might help your jump shot collectively. And we saw that it did. So that's why I always say, though, you got to hit first to start games, to start quarters, because a lot of time you can kind of dictate the pace to start the quarter when you hit first. If you get that first score, that first stop and score, a lot of time you can kind of make them want to play your game a little bit. So you can see how engaged the bench was after every stop, right? In the second half, the reaction you usually see from your team when you score is what we were seeing when they were getting stops. You saw everybody up, everybody clapping, everybody was fist pumping. That was great. So you just saw how important it was for them in the second half to just focus on getting stops, because when the Pistons play their style, like when they play their style to the level that they can on both sides, they can beat anybody. And that was without Stu. So I was scoring them by 30 or 31-18, I think, in the third quarter, going up double digits. All came from the defense, and they went with the same thing in the fourth quarter. Same thing. Just outscored them again to win by 14. So lastly, I'll let you kind of chime in after this, but in the game where they shoot 1 for 16 in the first half, 4 for 30 for the game, 13%, they can still win by double digits. Comfortably. So when they play that way, they can beat anybody consistently. So I know the shooting is what it is, but you can see how quickly a game can change for this team who's not shooting it well, all from the defense.
Yeah. And I mean, you made obviously great points. And this is what I said last time too, is like, a shooter would definitely help us, but a shooter isn't going to make us win more. It's just going to make those wins easier. We definitely win when we play defense and when we're in the paint. That was kind of what is frustrating me. I know they were trying to get hot from 3. I know somebody was trying to get hot from 3, but there were a few times that we came close, like when they had their lead over the whole first half, we would come like within 1 or 2 points, and then we'd go down and shoot a 3 and miss and come up empty, and then they go score. So there were a few times that I was like, just go back to our paint game. And I think that they absolutely did that, especially with the defense as well.
You kept saying that too, like just get the ball in the paint. You kept texting me that over and over.
I know. Well, because, that's how Banchero was getting foul calls. And I know Cade doesn't give the benefit of the doubt. And there were multiple times today that he was on the floor. And I'm like, if Banchero was on the floor, it'd be an easy whistle. But Cade, is getting on the floor because he's getting hit, and he definitely should have gotten more of those. But they just played through it. This is like a recurring theme throughout our season. So the free throws ended up evening out overall, so you can't be too mad. But I completely agree. And I do think there were some things to be frustrated about tonight still. And you could tell JB was not happy with that first half. You could tell he was not happy. And that's at least why I'm glad that we came out strong the second half, because that's something we haven't had this week. It's been a couple little things to get it back, but we stayed pretty consistent in the second half. But JB was still coaching his guys. He was talking to his guys. They would come out and he would pull them and talk to them. He was talking to Ausar during free throws. JD would come out and he'd talk to him about what he was doing. So he was still, coaching his team there. Not just sending them to the bench when he got frustrated. He was, voicing what needed to be done, and just appreciate that from him. So it ended much better than it started, and I'm really happy about that.
It was just nice to see the rhythmic shift. I think a big part of it came when I think it started before the second half. Even when Wu hit that first 3 and kind of got the monkey off their back, they all knew, they all thought about whatever, they were aware. I think when he kind of made that shot, it allowed them to kind of say, okay, we can settle in. Let's just try to play our game. And then Tobias really just kind of took it over. It seemed like we'll get to it later, but it seemed like every opportunity they tried to make sure they started a slew of possessions with Tobias. That they wanted to be the team to score first and get a stop first. They wanted to be the team that could do, like, if they allowed the Magic to score in the second half, they were making sure they scored. Like they weren't allowing them to string possessions on both sides together. They wanted to take control of it. So I just liked how even when they weren't getting stops at times, they were like, okay, you scored, now we're going to score. And now we're going to be the first one to get a stop and do both on both sides to start this half. So I just like the approach. The approach was just totally different in this game as far as they weren't playing to the style that the Magic were trying to play, because Magic were getting up threes. They were knocking down more than we were. Not a ton, but more. But we were just trying to match everything they were doing. Instead of trying to play our game. You say, okay, that's fine what you do, but we're better at what we do than you are at what you do. So let's just do what we do best, and eventually we'll get back into this game and get it. And that's what they did. So that was great to see that for sure.
Yeah, they definitely had better defense second half, and not even just more physical, because again, a lot of fouls called in the first half, but just the defense overall was great. We ended up with 20 stocks total. That's very impressive. And Orlando total had 12. So
that's good. Yeah. And then too, the rebounding, 56-41, paint points, 66-32. So those are all things that we do well. So once they decided to just play their game, right, that's when the whole thing turned. So I totally agree with you there for sure. All right, guys, let's get to some quick comments. Let's get this super chat in from Alan. What up, Alan? Says, boss, you're working with the Cade Cunningham of Pistons Conquering. I think you got it mixed up. I think I am low-key, bro. You know what I'm saying? we let's just say Cade and JD, however you want to call it. Cade and JD right here. You know how we do. But we appreciate you, Alan, for sure, man.
You carry the load much more. You do all
whatever.
the fancy things. You know?
And then here she comes with all the stats, and it's like, oh,
I'm here for the talking.
Love it, man. All right, boss. Let's go ahead and get to some box scores, and let's start with C2, Cade Cunningham in this game, guys, and then we'll come check the poll in a few. Cade tonight, guys, had 29 points on 11 for 25 overall, 2 of 9 from 3, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 7 boards, 11 assists, 5 turnovers, and 2 steals, boss, in 37 minutes. So what did you see tonight from Deuce?
Yeah, just another game. Like 11-5 isn't awful, but it's another game. He's just had high turnovers this whole week, 4 or more. But Orlando is that type of team too, so they were just being pesky with him. But he another double. Love to see it. He had half of our threes made, 2 of 4 overall, 2 of 9 for him. But shot 44%. He really just helped take control. In the first, he had a few breakaway dunks. In the second, he had that really nice left hand under the basket through contact, definitely through contact. In the fourth, he forced Banchero to do the over and back. That was kind of, we were, I think, like up 7 or 8. Like he just reestablished himself on that end. So he definitely just took over when we needed him to. But also, you know, again, with the assist, he knows what to do. He makes the right decisions of whether to shoot or pass. He knows what he wants to do, and so he has some really nice looks and again some good defensive plays and effort as well. So obviously very few complaints about Cade. Turnovers are not, like, that just comes with the territory of you know, putting up doubles often too. So
yeah, I agree with you. I love the way he's always trying to, at least initially, because it may not always be there, but you got to test the waters, and that's how you want to play. He's always initially, to start games, trying to push the pace.
Yeah.
Even if he's the one boarding and pushing, even if it's not an outlet, if he's boarding and pushing, he's just looking ahead and trying to see if he can force the issue a little bit. And he's big and strong enough to be able to do that. And he can finish great through contact, like you mentioned, to be able to do it. So I think that's a great thing that he always does. I think he's one of the best finishers with either hand in the league. With either hand, especially with the head of steam. I don't see a lot of guys consistently finishing with their left hand if they're right-handed and vice versa, right? As consistently as he does. So I got to give him credit for that, because it hasn't always been there at this level. He's really improved in his finishing at the rim. He's gotten stronger. Maybe that's part of why. But you mentioned it too. He converted some tough lefty finishes, man. I think he got and one-on-one, left hand off the glass, like, and then another one was the one you mentioned, where it's like he literally kind of almost got too far under the rim, didn't really have an angle, and as he's coming down, he's able to sneak it through off the glass, like just ridiculous. Still finding a way to put enough English on that and sneak it through the hoop was crazy. So. That was, you know, I just love how he's always trying to push the pace, and he's a great finisher. But the first half, he couldn't find his stroke really. Second half, he could. And once again, I think it's because of the game plan. It's like, let's just slow it down. Let's get a good shot on offense. And once they were able to do that, and they were able to set their defense up and then get stops, you saw Cade's confidence kind of just pick up with his jumper, because he started knocking down some 3 balls. He knocked down, I think, 2 of them in this game in the second half. Right. So, but it just looked more in a rhythm. He knew it was good when he let it go. You could see all the guys were engaged. They just had more of a rhythm, more of a pace in the second half. And Cade is a rhythmic player, you know. So it's like when he catches it in rhythm, when the team's flowing, when guys are getting shots and they're knocking them down, and he just has a good feel of the game, his shot's going to be better. And so I thought in the second half, we saw his confidence and the team as a whole kind of go up. But like you said, he made a lot of just good plays. The 5 turnovers, it's going to be there when you're playing 37 minutes and you have such an offensive load and you're strapped up defensively. You're going to have some mistakes. You're going to have some mistakes. Most guys aren't even as willing to do it at the level defensively that he does. So if that means he's going to have a couple of turnovers more, but he's given that high level defensive effort, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as the point guard. So it's not great to have 5 turnovers, but when you're considering everything he's doing and everything he's willing to do on the other side that's not so glamorous, you got to live with that.
Well, that's like, you know, we usually compare, you know, his assist to turnover ratio. Let's throw in his steals too, because he had 2 steals. So he forced 2 turnovers as well. So that would drop it down to 3 of 13, I would say.
I'm with it. I like that.
Because again, I mean, who does that? Banchero, he had 2 assists and 9 turnovers. One person. Banchero
he had 9 turnovers?
9 turnovers.
Remember those conversations about who's better, like just not even a year ago? Isn't that crazy how we don't even hear that no more?
You know, when people say, you know, free throws, especially when you talk about guys like Shea or Luka who get to the line a lot, like look at the free throws. But genuinely, if you're looking at this game and you want to compare, you might say like, oh, they both got a double-double. Bancheros was just with rebounds, but like 24 on 14 free throws is nuts.
Yeah.
13 made free throws. Like that's when that matters, because that means that he made, what was his shooting? He was 5 of 10. He only took 10 shots.
10 shots. What if Cade had that whistle? He'd average 30 easily. That's crazy. Go ahead. I'm just thinking out loud.
But anyways, because we're not going to sit here and complain about that, because we beat them anyways. We say this, I feel like, all the time, despite the whistle or despite the lack of shooting or despite things, we keep winning. So, if anything, I'm glad that they were able to take this one away while Stu's still gone. I think they'll get back into their rhythm with Stu back too.
Yes.
Paul, obviously, we know can come in and make an impact. He had a very solid third quarter for us. But it'll definitely be nice to have Stu back as well to just help this team get back into their form.
Yeah, exactly. Devin says Cade do more and he guard the best. Yeah, he can often guard the best players. It's nice to have an Ausar Thompson on this team who can primarily do that. But we know that if we need somebody like Cade to go guard the best player, he's willing to do it and he's capable of being able to do it. So when all things considered, that's why the 5 turnovers aren't really bothering me that much, because you got a lot of guys like, for example, Luka, who doesn't really guard, and he has a lot of high assists but high turnover games, and he's just really playing just one side of the ball while he's kind of getting hidden on the other side of the ball. And he can kind of conserve energy and things like that. It takes a lot of energy to play defense.
Oh yeah,
it takes a lot of energy to play defense. So at times you're going to be fatigued and trying to. So I'm not even concerned about that, because of what he's giving you on that side of the basketball more than makes up for it. So yeah, I agree with you. All right, boss, let's keep it pushing. Let's move on now to Duncan Robinson. Guys, tonight Duncan Robinson did not score in this game. 0 for 4 from the field, and all of his shots were threes. 3 boards, 2 assists in 25 minutes. Boss, take off on Duncan Robinson. What'd you see? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of effort out there. 25 minutes makes sense. He just couldn't get it going, but he also didn't put up like an 0 of 8. Like an 0 of 4 is he just couldn't find his shot. And when he was throwing them up, they weren't bad. He was really running around. They were attacking him a lot. Banchero even, but Banchero like really shouldered him sometimes. Like there's really nothing Duncan can do. It is just his size. He was staying in front, bothering people. He was trying to rotate. Again, the defense got better. In the beginning, the rotations were just awful. But the defense just got better overall. But at least Duncan, tries to close out. I never see Duncan like stop and let a guy have it. He runs after it. But in the second, he had a nice bounce pass to Ron in the paint to get Ron a basket. And in the third, he had a great find. He was in the air and he found B-Ball Paul wide open behind the defense. And it led to B-Ball Paul free throws. But so he was out there making the right decisions and doing well with spacing and everything. But unfortunately, none of his shots could really fall. And the 3 rebounds were important. He got a couple late in the game, which those possessions matter when you're trying to, maintain momentum and not give them anything easy.
Yeah, the effort was there. It's always kind of been there, this season, aside from the first couple of weeks. For me, it's like, because he's kind of been slumping a little bit lately. So I know, everybody's going to have slumps. Everybody's not going to shoot well every night. But he's our best shooter that we have in the rotation by far, right? So it's like in games when we're not shooting well, he needs to be the bright spot. Like he needs to be the guy when we're, shooting one or, let's just say not 1 for 16, but for 5 for 20, I need him to have 3 for 5. Like I need him to be the guy to kind of carry us offensively as far as the shooting, because that's what he's best at. That's what he was brought here to do. We know that he's given the effort. We talk about defense. I can't say with Cade and not mention everybody else, right? But we know that he's exerting more effort defensively than he probably ever has before. So I think that may be factoring into it. But I still need him to give us at least a couple if everybody else is just off, just to kind of keep us above water, right? Because in the playoffs, we can't have too many games like this and expect to win them, despite how good our defense is. So I just need him more so to be that guy that when we're not shooting well as a team, he's the guy that at least is giving us something.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And, the last few games he has been closer to the 2 to 3 range. I think he was like 2 for 7 or 2 for 8, and then he was 3 of 9. And you take that away and he would have been like, 0 for 6. So he did take less shots today. I think they were guarding him well. But I also think, he realized that his shooting was off. And so he wasn't trying to shoot himself.
Force it back into the game.
So I see both sides. Of course, we want him to make some of his shots, like it, because he is who we need to rely on. Like he's our 3-point guy. That's what we need you to do out there. But considering he only took 4, I'm not going to be too mad at him. JB didn't keep but I do agree with you. I'm hoping that again, maybe with Stu back, because Stu's the one who's always on him about, coming off his screens and stuff and
taking advantage of him.
Yeah. So maybe, hopefully the vibes just kind of flow right back into this team once they're back on the court as a full unit with the minutes and have minutes with the guys that they're used to having minutes with. But yeah, I do agree. It would have been nice to see, especially if you only shoot 4, 1 or 2 of those go in, continue to get it going. But I think just on to the next with this, I don't think he was detrimental to the team.
Because it wasn't just him.
Right.
It wasn't just him.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't really fault anybody for their 3-point shooting, but your tonight at least, but your 3-point shooter, you would hope would get something to drain. But just from
an expectation standpoint. You know what I mean? Because we know guys like Ryan, Ausar, not good shooter. We get it, right? So I'm just hoping that, and I don't expect him to keep slumping either. I expect him to break out of it and get back to the guy we've seen most of the season on both sides. So just something I noticed. We're gonna need him. We're gonna need him for sure. So
absolutely.
All right, boss. We'll leave it there on Dunk. Let's see if we got any more. Nope. Okay, we're good. Oh, I want to shout out my dog Eric, Top Towel Detroit. What's going on, bro? Vinny, y'all seen him on the show many times. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you, man, for sure. You guys make sure you guys are checking him out too. Whenever we're not live, check him out on Live Assist. You can find that link in the description of this video. I'll put it in there. And you can also find it on Twitter. So make sure you guys go follow him, subscribe to his channel. Good content. My guy. Boss, let's keep it pushing. Let's go to Ausar Thompson in this game, guys. Ausar Thompson finished with 9 points. I thought he had more than that. 9 points on 4 or 5 shooting overall. 1 or 2 from the free throw line. 11 rebounds to lead the team, boss. 3 assists, no turnovers, which is a good ratio, great ratio. 2 steals and 3 blocks for 5 stocks in only 21 minutes. So, what did you see tonight, boss, from Ausar Tasmanian Thompson?
It's another great game. He's starting to put them together. I was bummed. I wanted him to get like one more lay. I think they could have if they they didn't want to on the last shot just do that. But I would have been like, for an Ausar double-double, because I'm going to have 3 in. But if 3 people get that tonight. But no, he was fantastic. He had a block on Bane that led to a Cade dunk in the first. In the third, he had a block on De Silva. He had a block on Bane again that led to the Tobias 3. Finally gave us the 3 or the lead.
His blocks on Bane were disrespectful, and I loved every second of it. I ain't gonna lie.
Exactly. And Desmond Bane, I don't know. So I feel like he was okay on the Grizzlies. Like I liked watching him, and then I don't know. He came to the Orlando mean, but he was just pulling down rebounds, as we said. Like he was making sure that was effort, because some of them were jump up rip downs, but a lot of them he was just stretching. They were one hand bring ins. He was just making sure he didn't lose it. It was huge. He had a poke away.
His hang time is crazy. His hang time is crazy. Go ahead.
I know. He had a poke away steal in the third, which led to his left-handed layup, and then in the fourth, a steal to a dunk at the end there. So he just played great tonight. Very impressed with him. I thought he obviously with the stocks too, but he played great defense. He closed out very well on their perimeter as they started to get a little bit cold. He was moving around a lot. He took he was 4 or 5, and he took one mid-range shot that didn't go in, but I appreciated the effort, and it wasn't just way off, it just was a little short. But loved what I saw from AT tonight. He's definitely he's just playing with a lot more confidence ever since JD, or maybe more intention is the word, just ever since JD, he benched him in the Spurs. Was it the Spurs game that they sat him out for a bit? So I think whatever was discussed, he's obviously honed that in a little bit and really played some of his best basketball lately.
Yeah. I debated on putting him in the poll. It was between him and Ryan. I couldn't decide. But let's get to the poll. Let's see the results on that. So, guys, as far as who you guys think should get the belt, Tobias Harris, Uncle T coming in hot, 75%, boss. And then Cade is at 17, JD is at 3, and Ron Holland is at 4. I debated on those 2 guys. They both played very, very well in this game. But as far as what I saw, it's becoming routine now, it seems like, for him to force backcourt steals for out dunks. Like he's doing it. This is like back-to-back games now where he's just turning guys over in the backcourt for easy hoops. Easy hoops. Things like that make it easier to swallow when you're not shooting the basketball well. You're just getting easy points, right? But he was amazing defensively. Absolutely incredible. He just makes so many plays that you're not supposed to be able to make that the average guy is going to be a second late, is not going to get that fingertip on it, can't make the play quick enough, right? But he's just built different. Him and his brother just built different. So just the raw ability that he has, you just can't teach it. Like I don't care how much you rep it out, you practice it, you try to look at film. Just certain things you just can't do physically, and he's able to do a lot of those things. But here's what I like about Ausar, boss. He played great on the perimeter against Bane, and then he also played great in the interior against Banchero. I know he got some called for some fouls, but just his defensive versatility to be able to guard 1 through 4 is what makes him Tasmanian Thompson. Like he can just be so disruptive all over the court effectively. And so he's gotten better with the fouls. He's cut down on the fouls. He's understanding what he can and can't get away with. But just his versatility, anywhere on the court, you gotta have him in your rear view, because he can just come out of nowhere and just disrupt the play. So I just love the versatility that he brings to this team. And offensively, he's so much more in control. So much more in control. A lot of time last year, we see him make a play like he did tonight in the last game in the backcourt, or get a steal, and he's out in the break and he loses the ball. And it's going the other way. Momentum, opportunity gone, right? But this year, he's so much more in control with the basketball. His handle has gotten way better, much more improved. Decision-making has gotten better. Off-ball movement has gotten better. Like he's just getting better incrementally across the board offensively now. The free throw shooting is still not great, but at least he hit one. He wasn't no 0 for 2, 0 for 3. So across the board, looking for that just incremental growth, and he's shown on both sides of the ball. Defensively, we know what he is, but offensively, he's just starting to add and kind of bring up the rear, so to speak, as far as being a more balanced player on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. He's just looking to, like you said, much more in control. We talked about his handles and stuff these just since January 1st. Like he's not really relied on as a second ball handler, but I'm not as worried as we used to be. Not as like, is he gonna make the right decision? He had a couple today too where he did kick it out, or he did drive to the basket. You didn't really know what he was gonna do. So he's getting more just settled in that space. And he was just a blast to watch today. Just a blast.
Yep. Yeah, I thought he played a great game, man. So that's all I got on Ausar. I thought he was just really, really good. We kind of get spoiled with his defense. You know, the things that he does routinely is not what we're used to seeing across the league. So I just don't want us to overlook, you know, how talented and how valuable he is to this team, especially when we're not knocking down shots, right? We just got to have those plays sometimes to give us a jolt, and he consistently does that. So shout out to him, man. All right, guys, let's keep it pushing. Let's move on now to Uncle T, the player of the game, as far as I'm concerned. Tonight, Uncle T finished with 23 points on 10 for 18 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 7 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block for 3 stocks in 33 minutes, boss. What'd you see from Uncle T tonight?
Man, 10 of 18 almost feels wrong. It felt like he was just draining most of them. It's probably just, you know, a little bit of the slow start factoring in.
Yep, first half.
He had one of our 4 threes tonight, so that's huge. In the second, he followed his shot. He shot a 3 and he followed it, which led to an offensive rebound, and then he lobbed it to JD for a basket. In the third, he had a turnaround basket to start the scoring, got the next basket too. My favorite shot of his was the turnaround on Banchero, because we've talked about this before. I think a few ones ago, and you thought that, and you had mentioned that when Tobias has a mismatch, he loves to go to that move, and I agree. But he also went to that move today on a much bigger guy. One of the stars. So he just he was really in the zone. He was getting it done. He did the vet things that we needed him to do. 7 rebounds as well. And he started off a little bit slow in the first half, just like all of them. Like they just looked a little, like you said, out of rhythm, off sync, because the spacing was off. Some defense was off where there was just miscommunication and two guys on the same guy, and the other guy's open on the other half of the court. But then he cleaned it up just like everybody else did, and just really took over the game. To have 2 steals on a block too is, I don't know if yours said 1 and 1, but mine has 2 and 1.
I have 3 stocks for him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And only 1 foul, no turnovers. Yeah. Beautiful. This is a very all around Tobias game. If he can get us, 23 points when we're lacking from 3 and we're not shooting, then that's just such a big help, and that will just help us go forward too. And he's just he's a constant decision maker too. I feel like he often makes the right decision. Maybe he doesn't execute it well, like a lob or something like that, but he makes the right one. And he almost had that 3 at the end of the halftime too.
I know, that would have been huge.
Yeah, and I think it was just because he's not he was like he dribbles to the side when he's fast breaking, but and just couldn't pull up in time. But that would have been nuts. But you can tell that he was feeling himself because he didn't feel any to anybody else.
As he should have been. Yeah. Let's get some quick comments. Heisenberg says, Tobias Harris over me. Yes, bro. This year, for sure. Sorry, Jimmy. Kenyatta says, Uncle's our Captain America. He can do this all day. I like that. I can do this all day. Yeah, he was smooth with his midi game, Heisenberg, for sure. That was a great welcome sight for sure. So here's my thing with Tobias. In a game when you're missing a guy like Stu and you're struggling to get stops, you're struggling to get out and run, you need somebody like Tobias Harris in the half court to knock down shots, right? I believe that he is the most consistent scoring option in the half court. Tobias Harris on the block, especially against a mismatch. Well, like you said tonight didn't matter. He had a shot over Van Carroll. He put up in the Raptors and he just fell straight through. It was crazy. But most of the time it's a mismatch. But even without it, I still think that's the most consistent scoring option on one possession. It's like, I need a bucket. What am I going to? That's what I'm going to. And we know the pick and roll lob is not always going to be there. Teams are starting to try to take that away more and more. So what happens when they pack the paint to take it away and the ball swings to a shooter? It hasn't been consistent all year. It's been there at times, but not even just Duncan, but just on the perimeter, right? It hasn't just really been consistent as far as just knocking down those shots. So the block has been most consistent offensive play. So it just seems like after every timeout at halftime, to start a possession, the Pistons would go to the post. Like every time, just to help them get that good offensive possession, help them get that bucket to start stacking plays, right? To get them into a rhythm, to start stringing those possessions together. So when they did that, that's when we saw the 7-0 run. That's when we saw the 9-0 run, because he was the one to initiate, get the bucket. Now let's set up defensively and now let's start stacking. So that's why I thought he was the most important player. It wasn't the points, wasn't the stats. It was just he helped dictate the pace because he helped them hit first. That was the most important thing. So it all started, though, off the half-court offense, the half-court execution. That was where it started. And then they started stacking on both sides. Then they started building confidence. And then they started knocking down shots. So that's why he's a player of the game.
Yeah. And I mean, he also had, the 2 steals. Those came at timely moments. And I do want to say, we see him pop off this whole week. Everyone's been doubling Tobias. The Magic didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't double him till later on. So he just showed what he can do. He can show, because we were just talking about why your teams keep doubling Tobias, because he is our half court production. Of course, we can get other guys to get it done. Cade's a great, like you said, he's just most consistent. And when you shut him down, you don't end up with him getting 23 points on you. So the minute he finds his rhythm in that shot, it's really hard for him to break it. I truly do believe that. And he's been doubled enough this week that he now knows where to look and where to pass if he does get doubled and stuck in that moment. But he was fun to watch tonight as well. And he was jawing out there, I think, with Mo Wagner. I know you guys like Mo because of Michigan. I've never liked him.
I like Franz. I'm not really a Mo fan.
I can't stand Mo Wagner, and I think he just talks the talk. And I don't think it's like an ego thing. He's just a talker. He's just a talker out there. He talks as much as Tyrese Halliburton, I would say. You just don't notice it as much. But
he's not enough game to be talking as much as he does.
I know. That's how I feel. And he can be a little dirty at times too. So it was just nice to see us, come out.
Him in the back of the head.
Yeah, that one, and just some other. He's had incidents with a lot of our guys, I feel like, but it was kind of the battle of the Michigans today with LeVert and Duncan out there as well. Yeah. But yeah, so it was just nice to see him over Ben Carroll, over some of these Magic guys. I don't know. There's something about the attitude of that team that I do not like. It's like they all kind of have
Orlando.
It's like, what have you done? Recently, to act this way. I don't get it.
I think they're just trying to develop that mindset now, so that way hopefully they can match it with their play. They're probably just like, it starts with the mindset. It's just annoying to see. It's just annoying because they're not there yet, but hopefully they don't get there. Kenyatta says Tobias Harris 23. That's hilarious. Oh man, I thought he was good, man. He was definitely a player of this game. He really got it done on both sides too. Even though he wasn't great early defensively, he was struggling a little bit to stay in front. But once again, the pace just wasn't there, and they really liked in early. So I'm not gonna put that on him. But yeah, he's showing. In, we said before, boss, late in games when the game slows down, you're not always gonna be able to get to your style. Even with the steal, you're not always gonna be able to turn teams over, get stops. So when it slows down, when the game slows down, what better guy to have than Tobias Harris who can just come get you a good shot to help you kind of just string possessions together. So yeah, he's important to this team, and we're starting to see it more and more.
Exactly.
All right, guys, let's keep it pushing, man. Let's go to JD, Jalen Duren in this game, guys. Tonight, JD finished with 16 points, 6 for 12 overall, 4 or 6 from the line, 10 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 2 steals, and a block for 3 stocks for JD in 34 minutes, boss. Take off on JD, man.
Okay, I'll get my critique out of the way real quick. Wendell Carter Jr. got behind him a couple times.
He did.
And the first time, one of the times it was just Banchero just whipped it too hard and missed him. The second and third time was when JB was like, I think he dunked and JB was yelling at JD. You could hear him yelling, and when they timed out, he was, yelling at him a bit. So I've
seen that too. Yeah.
And again, like they all kind of had questionable defense in the first half, but JD I was just like, that's your guy. Like, you got to defend the paint, buddy. But then, he obviously made up for it in a lot of ways. He had a block on Bane in the second. He had the steal on the baseline. He had a block to end the quarter. He had a good pass to Cade under the bucket in the third. Oh yeah, that was the one. Or no, that was a different one. Cade was under the bucket, but then he had the no look to Cade's second 3. That was nice. That was when it really looked like us in our rhythm. I think that's just the word of the day for this game. And then the fourth, he had a soaring slam, just like soared over everybody.
Exactly.
Ron almost had one slowly after him, but that's what that's like
Ron
what we want to
pushed. Otherwise, he got pushed back. Otherwise, he would have done it. Yeah.
But that was just nice to see because it's something that we know he can do, and he did it again over their big guys, and so he as our rhythm got into it, his did as well on both ends. So after a slow defensive start in the paint, he got much better throughout the game.
Yeah. I thought he was extremely aggressive and active around the rim. In the very beginning of the game, it was a lid on the rim for him. Like, he had a few attempts at the rim off his own offensive rebound and just wouldn't drop. It was definitely iron unkind, especially early. But I did like the effort. You did mention it was a few times, not a few, but 1 or 2 times where Wendell did get behind him, but because they didn't convert, it kind of got missed. Right. But I did see the same thing you saw with that. It's like, they didn't score, but you still can't let them beat you down the court.
Yeah.
But yeah, another block for JD. Right. A lot of fans, a lot of people have been understandably wanting to see more from JD defensively. And you've been among them, and understandably so. I feel like during this offensive stretch that he's had, it's been the best of his career. But I feel like the defense is starting to match. It's starting to match more and more. This is like 3 or 4 games now where he's had a recorded block, right? And his stocks as a whole are going up, just period. So I think on both sides of the ball now, we're seeing him record more and more stocks. His defensive reads are getting better. His effort has been more consistent on both sides. You mentioned the play here and there, right? But you got to clean it up. But just over a 48-minute game, I'm just seeing the effort and now the impact as far as how he's defending the rim and just defending the perimeter too, when he's been asked to do that. So he's challenging everything. It's just the approach it's becoming more and more noticeable for him now. We know the offense is going to be there. Like, I think he's averaging like 28 and 14 over the last 4, which is crazy. Yeah. But now the defense is starting to catch up a little bit too. And that's when he's going to become that true superstar 2-way big man that we know he can be. So baby steps. He's still 22. Still got a long way to go to get to that point. But for him to be doing what he's doing already at this age is scary. It's scary.
Yeah. Agreed. And like I said, I think sometimes you just need to be reminded of like the effort on both sides. Like just mindful, be in in the moment. So once he let Wendell Carter cut behind him for the second time and scored, and JB, kind of yelled at him and got it back into him, got him going. And his defense translated to his offense as well.
Exactly. So. Yeah. Get some comments here. Do we have anything new? Let's see. I think we're good. Let's see. Let me double check. I want to get y'all in here as much as I can. I want him to dunk the ball. Yeah, he did. He was getting hacked, Rodney. I must say. I was hearing the slaps through, and we always say we hate to see when he goes like this, but he probably gets grabbed more than, I would say, 75-80% of the guys in the league, just because he's so physically imposing and strong. You kind of have to grab him, right? Just to kind of stop him sometimes. And I think he kind of gets annoyed by that. He doesn't do it every time. He really doesn't do it most of the time. But it's like he hits a breaking point after getting smacked around so many plays. It's like, bro, just call something. So it's a tough spot for him to be in. But it definitely is something to keep an eye on and to just basically just make light of, because he has to take a lot of punishment as a big guy. Just because you're big don't mean you don't feel it when you get hit. Like you still feel it. And those guys are big too. So that's where the most physicality is taking place under the hoop. So, you know, I'm just going to give him credit for just trying to be the guy we need him to be. It's going to take time for him to be he's not going to be a perfect player, but at that level, it's going to take time for those things to kind of habitually drop off, right? So he's still kind of getting molded into that guy. But what he's giving us right now at this age is ridiculous. So I'm willing to go through the ups and downs of this process of a 22-year-old all-star who's doing the things that he's doing, dominating the game already. I'm willing to go through that stuff. I'm willing to go through the ups and downs. There's going to be some growing pains, whatever. It's worth it. Yeah, he's that good, and he has the potential to be great. He has the potential to be one of the best bigs we've seen in a long time in this league. So he has that ability.
After a week of very tough games, he has stepped up and had some of the best games of his career this past week. So that just also just goes to show what he's doing when the team is struggling on shooting and is struggling in certain areas. Like, even though we have our critiques and we see some mistakes, like no one's perfect, but it just shows what he can do once he cleans some of those areas of his game up, which just comes with time and experience. So
100%. So 22 years old, bro. Like it's crazy. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to some reserves, boss. Let's start with Daniss Jenkins. Tonight, guys, Daniss Jenkins, 2 points on 1 for 6 shooting, still struggling to shoot the ball, over 2 from 3, 1 turnover, no assists, and 3 steals in 11 minutes. So didn't play a ton, had some good moments, had some bad moments. What'd you see from Daniss Jenkins in this game, boss?
Look, he was the hero last game, so he gets a little bit of a pass. He only had 11 minutes, and he wasn't in for a while either. They played LeVert over him, and LeVert came in before he did, and things like that. But he had a steal in the second, which led to round free throws. In the fourth, his only points was a basket. He came off the bench right away in the fourth and got that floater. So I just don't know if he didn't have opportunities after that. 3 steals is beautiful. So he was still out there, doing, what he could do for the team. And I know some of the threes were a little short. No fouls or anything, though, not an impressive stat line, but for 11 minutes and what he's done for us lately, I'll take it. I'm still never worried when he's on the court. He wasn't a detriment to this team, and he was in some valuable minutes and valuable time. We were on our comeback. So it's a below average game stat wise, but nothing to worry or concern me about him. I know the shooting is concerning overall this week, but this is probably, I know we've had shooting issues this whole year, but this is probably our worst streak of shooting in a while. And it will end. I know we always want it to be the next game that it ends, but sometimes it lasts a little longer, but it will end.
Yeah, it's for me, it's similar to what we say about guys like Javonte, for example, where the difference in how people view their game is if their shot was falling or not. If they're 1 for 6, they had a terrible game. If they're 4 for 6, they had a great game. His shot's just not falling right now. But I do like exactly what 313 says. I don't judge Daniss on his scoring only. I judge our point guards based on how the offense overall functions when they're on the court, right? And when he's on the court, he's not hurting you. He's not turning the ball over. He's not shooting us in the foot. He's not killing our momentum with a bad play or a bad turnover. Like, the shot's just not falling. Everything else he's doing, defensively, he's a dog. He was a dog again tonight. There was a sequence when he almost picked off a pass and it went out of bounds. On the very next inbound, he actually stole the ball. In the very next play. Like, I'm going to get my steal, bro. But I just like the energy, the effort defensively that he's giving. He's always looking to push pace too, just like Cade. Both of our point guards are trying to do what coach wants. Push pace whenever we can. In this kind of a game, that wasn't the format for this game because the Magic wanted to kind of slow it down. But you could just see whenever he could, like whenever Cade was they're just trying to push the basketball and just give us pace to help us get a string of possessions together. So the shot's not falling. The shot has to improve. He's going through a stretch right now. He started off shooting great when he was here, right? So we said before, teams are kind of game planning for him more. They're kind of getting, more acclimated to how he plays. So he's got to adjust to their adjustment. But I think that'll come as long as if he was continuing to score, but was slacking off defensively. That's an even bigger problem. It's all about the mental part. Are you playing the way coach wants you to play? Coach wants you to knock down shots, but he also understands you're not always going to be able to. So control the controllables, and he's doing that right now. So I'm not really mad at it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel too about, Daniss. It kind of relates to what Kevin said here. Daniss would look a lot better if our guys were knocking down open looks. And that's honestly kind of why his assists have been so low, is because our shots have just not been good. So I feel like if some of our shots were sinking, he would obviously put up multiple assists because they did have LeVert a lot as the play creator when they were on the floor together, which me and you have our questions about, but that's just another thing. And it's not a Daniss thing. It's just kind of what they're going with right now.
Yeah.
But when he is play creating and people aren't hitting their shots, it's not like it would be a different story if he wasn't registering assists and we were making threes and we were, because that means that you are somehow not contributing out there. If you're only scoring 2 points and not getting any assists, but we're on an offensive roll, then it's like, well, what are you doing out there? But since we are so just kind of log jammed to that position,
And even though he didn't play a ton of minutes tonight, there are oftentimes you see JB leave guys you don't see JB like leaving guys in the game. When is he usually pulling guys? Like the thing with him and Ausar, when did Ausar get pulled and didn't get back into the game? It was over what, offensively or defensively? It was a defensive assignment. Like he's not going to pull you just because you're not hitting shots.
Right.
He'll pull you if you're not playing defense. So once again, you can still have confidence that on a night when everybody's not shooting well, Daniss Jenkins is going to be one of the guys who's going to continue to bring the defense. Right. So that's the biggest thing for me. They're just leaning into what they're best at. So even in games where we're not shooting well as a team and as individual guys, like even with us as a team didn't shoot well, still won the game. Daniss didn't shoot well, still played a solid game because of what he brought defensively. So it's the trickle down effect. As long as everybody's locked into that end of the floor, you can still get dubs. And he was a part of that.
Right. And it's like, you look at these guys, I know it's so easy and it's just frustrating because like I said, like if we just had an offensive guy, if Duncan or Jenkins were draining their threes, or if we had another scorer on our team to help out, it would be a little bit easier of a win, easier to swallow. But like the teams with great shooting still have more losses than we do.
Great point.
Teams that are great defense and great offense still have more losses than we do. And it is really frustrating. You don't want to come up. It sucks when we go a few times and we come up empty on the offensive floor because our shots aren't draining. But the slumps.
Say that one more time for anybody who missed that. What you just said about the teams with less wins who can shoot better. I don't want y'all to miss that. That's a really good point she just made.
Yeah, the teams that are with great defense and great shooting, the teams with great shooting, they still have more losses. Like we're still winning despite, and I know, and like I said earlier, like it would be just so much more helpful if we could just like take off on offense and not have to worry about it. All these games tend to be close. We pulled away in this one when it mattered, but the slumps, this has been our worst slump, and I think I'll get back to normal. And back to normal still isn't great. Again, it's been a consistent critique of our team, a consistent thing we've been looking for.
Yep.
But, when it does turn on, like I'd rather the slump now. I can't predict when it will turn on, if it will turn on all the way. But like it's right now in this hard, we're facing teams we haven't seen before, haven't seen in a while. It's just everyone's kind of in the zone. We're also sitting at the top, and even though we want to maintain that, and there's definitely effort there, these other teams are vying for our spot too. Like they're still vying, so they're really, the mindset is there. Not saying that ours isn't, but some of the other teams are able to pull away, and like the Knicks beat the Spurs today, and they're all like, now see, we can take Detroit in 7. It's like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Just because you beat a team that beat us by 10?
Right. Why don't y'all just beat us yourselves, and then y'all can have that confidence?
Yeah. So
it's just Charles, bro.
but we all know, that there's certain teams like us and the Bucks today. The Nuggets lost to Minnesota. That's their kryptonite team. Like,
really?
Yes. There's just some teams that just don't.
Oh yeah.
Play well against each other. The matchups are tough. Magic is one of them. So a 14 win over the Magic should be exciting. They didn't have Anthony Black and Wagner, but Desmond Bane, I mean, he had 17 points. That man pops off against us.
Bane,
we kept him under wraps. And again, if Banchero didn't get to the free throw line so much early, he would have ended with 11 points. So
yeah. A lot of things really didn't go our way and we still won.
Exactly. And that's just like,
Convincingly.
it's unfortunately the theme, but just flip it optimistically. Like, yes, of course, things could be easier. Anything it could be easier. Every team, even the good one, the very good, the people talk about the Celtics, the Knicks, the Spurs. I'll say the Celtics and Spurs and OKC, like those teams, that even their fans are like, well, we needed this and this and this, and why don't we have it? And why don't we have it? It's not a perfect team, but we're winning despite, and that just shows Detroit grit. I mean, that's what I think of, when I think of the city of Detroit, is grit and resilience and bounce backs and everything. And that's exactly what we continue to do.
Yeah, two things can be true. Kevin. You got to pick how you'll build your team within salary cap constraints. The Pistons' core value, however, is defense. Although we do definitely have to get better shooting. That's the scary part. We're nowhere near our ceiling as far as these guys who are already on the team and who may or may not be on the team going in the future to improve this team. We're still nowhere near our ceiling, but we're still the best team in the league right now. That's the scary part. But it's the key is what Kevin said, is that you have a ton of guys who are all bought into how you want to play. There is no disconnect with 2 or 3 players who are just not locked in. You can't play. Like, everybody wants to play defense on this team. That everybody in the rotation, they want to play defense. There is no disconnect anywhere. And that's the most important thing. Talent is important, but having that buy-in and that chemistry is the most important thing. And that's why, despite not, doing what most teams can do as far as shooting the ball, we're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams. And we're the best team in the league. What does that tell you? If we had just a little bit of shooting and the defense sustains, bye-bye. So that's why I'm not even worried. Yeah, go ahead.
And people are like, well, what about Chaz? What about stuff? Like, that's a rookie.
For sure.
Like, we have people around us. I think that's going to be the offseason. I think everyone can agree. I think even Trajan and JB can see that is kind of the offseason goal. But I think it's also valid to not want to go after that during the season and potentially give up people that would ruin our chemistry or bring in, and mess with that. There's just little tinkering. So we still winning despite, and hopefully, what's to come will just help us continue to dominate, but in different areas.
Yeah, and as far as the shooting, like, that's why I'm looking forward to seeing Chaz Lanier progress as a player.
Yeah,
because he's a great shooter, but he's also a willing defender too. Like, he's not a guy when he's playing you see just kind of getting hunted out or abused or missing assignments defensively. He knows how to play defense at this level too. So that's why I'm excited about his growth too, because we know what he can do as far as shooting the ball, but it's just another guy that buys into what we want to do first, who also can shoot the basketball. So we got a lot of guys in this team who want to play the same way, man. It's a good time to be a Pistons fan for sure. Yeah. Well, so let's go to Caris LeVert. Caris LeVert in this game, guys. Had 8 points on 4-10 shooting, 0-4 from 3, 2 boards, 3 assists, and 3 turnovers, 2 steals in 20 minutes. What did you see tonight from Caris?
Yeah, the turnovers were frustrating. And I know I always, whenever, because Cade also has turnovers, and I just feel like everyone expects the minute that LeVert makes a mistake, it's like, oh, here's classic LeVert. So I try not to do that with him. I try to be like, hey, everyone's making mistakes, But he had some really, I would say, of course, it was another 50-50 game from him. I'm waiting for him to have a great game where the mistakes are overshadowed. But I would say it was about 50-50, maybe 60-40 in positives to negatives. But he was attacking Suggs. And Suggs, I think someone brought up earlier, Suggs was chirping. He was running back on 3 and he was chirping. And so LeVert's like, okay, and I'll take advantage of this and got to the basket. He's got our first score of the second quarter. He got a passing lane steal to a breakaway layup. He got all the way down. That gave us the 10-point lead in the third. He had a great find to Duren for the slam. So he had some, good looks and stuff. Some of the turnovers were a little bit frustrating, but if that was Jenkins, it'd be frustrating too. I thought he had good defense overall. He did have some fouls, and some of them were a little ticky-tacky, but some of them were, legit fouls. But he was just again, out there battling. I just rewatched the Pistons. Was it the Pistons? It was Pistons versus Chicago 2019. It was an East Conference Finals game with Jordan.
90? 91?
90 sounds right.
We beat him in 90. We lost in 91.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, in 90. So yes, I was just rewatching that, and they were talking about how there was a lack of. Because I brought this up. They were saying how there was a lack of fouls, and that just shows how the Pistons aren't playing as physical as they usually do. And you can apply that same thing to us sometimes. The foul trouble gets annoying, but it's because we do play physical. So when you don't see any fouls, you're just like, was that smart defense, or was that just not physical play? Right. And LeVert's game, I think most of it was smart physical play. That he just got.
Yeah.
He had a couple, like he had a reach in one that I thought was kind of questionable because he got ball, I think, but a couple things. But so definitely I saw some flashes that I want him to continue to stay consistent in, like attacking the basket and going for the passing lane steals. But just kind of I don't think his turnovers hurt us, but I do think his baskets in some moments did help us a little bit.
Yeah. So we talked about it a little bit offensively first, as far as I don't like him as the primary creator in offense, the initiator in offense. I feel like having Daniss Jenkins on the weak side, just ball watching, is kind of a waste. Because I feel like he's just a much better floor general and table setter offensively, just getting you a good shot, getting not just himself a good shot, but getting a quality shot on the offensive side of the floor. So for me, I don't know why they're running these actions. To be honest, I mean, I'm sure they got the reasons. Right. I don't know why they're running these actions with Caris, as a creator. It doesn't make sense to me because he's not a point guard. But that's not on him. That's I don't know, but I just don't like it. But I will say this: from what I saw tonight and what I've kind of seen the last couple of weeks, just watching Caris LeVert, he's at his best when he's playing with pace.
Agreed.
I watched him with that second unit. He's not that great right now in the half court. When he's running plays, when he's the initial creator, he's not that great. You see some great plays and then some bad turnovers. Really good play, the JD for a dunk, then a bad turnover, bad pass, bad entry pass, just things that are controllable, like just unforced turnovers. So, but when he's playing with pace, when he's helping to get steals and get stops, and he's disruptive and he's getting out in transition, he still got some speed to him. He's still pretty. He got some jets to him, even at this age in his career. He can still move north to south. He's fast. He can get up and down the court pretty quick, and he's shifty. So I just feel like his defense has pretty much been there all year. So I just hope they look to utilize him more in the open court, like they did in the second half tonight. Right, just getting stops, being disruptive, getting out on the break. In the half court, I want Daniss with the basketball. I want him running the show. Help set Caris up and not vice versa. I don't want Daniss on the court just ball watching. He's a point guard. He's shown he can be the guy to set us up offensively. So I want the ball in Daniss' hands in the half court, and I'm letting Caris go if it's available, on the break, because he's good. He's good in that area. So that's how I want to see it. Like, it seemed like time and time again, and he was getting to the rim, he was finishing, he was making plays in the open, so that's where he's best, and it seems like he likes to do it. So I just want to see him do that more so. But other than that, I thought he was okay.
It's just kind of some puzzle pieces to fit together, because some complaints were his touch at the rim, and now he's finishing his shots at the rim, but his mid-range isn't going. Like, it just kind of needs to feel like it all needs to come together. But I do agree with you, because we've seen Daniss as the main ball handler when Caris is on the floor and vice versa. But it feels like that's when Caris had his best games. That's when he was on his little streak after All-Star. But then, or before All-Star, I think.
A little before, I think, yeah.
Yeah. But then it's gone back to Caris, but I do agree. I think he's playing with a better pace that way, which is good for us when we're that kind of team. Like, we like to fast break, but when you're asking him to bring up the ball, out of bounds and on the inbound to bring it all the way up court, then it's a little bit different. So
exactly.
Just kind of a mid game from him, and still just waiting for him to really pop off. He did have some crucial defensive plays, so like steals, and he continues to do that. Now it's just contributing on the offensive end. And even though, and we're having some offensive games. So I'm curious how he looks the next time that we're kind of in rhythm with offense. I'm curious to see if he gets in rhythm with us too, after some good defensive showouts, but lack of offense. But you can argue, other than Cade and JD these past 3 games, then Tobias tonight, that everyone's been a little bit off on.
Right. I agree. Michael says, and that's why LeVert plays 15 to 20 minutes defense. Not that he's a star, but him out there with Ron and Javonte and Stu or Reed is exactly. It's very disruptive. But he's not 6'4". He's 6'6" and a half, right? He's a big guard. So he's long, and I think with his athleticism and his willingness to want to play on that end and get out in transition, it's just going to help this team as a whole in that second unit for sure, because he's good in that area.
Yeah, and he's good at perimeter defense, which is something that when we're not hitting our threes, we got to make sure that they're not hitting theirs either.
Yep, so. I agree. All right, let's keep it going, guys. Let's go to Javonte Savage. Can you woo Green, guys? Tonight, Javonte Green had 3 points. Only 3 points, felt like more. 103 shooting overall. All the shots were threes. 8 rebounds. That's why I felt like more. 8 rebounds for Javonte Green. 1 assist and 1 turnover, boss, in 18 minutes. What'd you see?
He also had a couple missed defensive assignments in the first quarter, and I was like, "Woo, what is this?"
He was a little off, just out of rhythm, out of sync, losing the ball a little bit. Yeah,
he had a turnover, and he left the guy open, and then he was under the basket and let a guy get around him, or he didn't come for the help defensive. What that was, like, just a couple things that like I've never had to say about him. But then, like everybody else, he kind of locked it. And the 8 rebounds were huge. Those were most of them were in the second half when we were just building momentum. He hit our first 3 of the game. he hit our first 3 to break the 0-15, which we have never gone 0-15, by the way. So
ever. That's crazy.
To start and that's what Kelser says, that we've never gone 0-15 in a game from 3 to start. So Wu broke that. His rebounding. And he had three basket attempts, and they were all threes. So he was 1 of 3. So he tried to make some more after that. I think he made his middle one, I want to say, because the first one was off. But he, made up for the 18 minutes he was out there. The 8 rebounds were huge. I thought he did really good on guys bigger than him. He was really bothering. I think that's why Banchero couldn't get hot in the second half. Like, even though he did have some missed assignments in the first, Wu was really just bothering some other guys. He was our 4 out there when Tobias was off. And so since Tobias has been helping, on the glass, with Stu gone and just some bodies gone to not tire just helping in the paint area, it seems like these last few games, Wu took on that responsibility and he did it well.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely did. And you guys have been pointing that out too. I thought his defense on Paolo was great because he's what is Paolo, 6'10"?
I don't know. He's big.
He's a big dude, man. I think he's 6'9", 6'10". He's at least 6'9".
He looks like
6'5".
He looks like you could run up to him.
At least, for sure. Wu's 6'5", but it doesn't seem like he plays so much bigger than he is. That's why so many people often think he's 6'7", 6'8", because he just plays so much bigger than he is. But I thought his defense was great, man. Once again, he was just disruptive. He didn't get a ton of steals or anything, but he knocking the ball out of bounds, just getting him off his spot, just making everything tough, forcing him to bad shots, kind of chirping at him a little bit too, which I love. I love it. But I thought he just did a lot of little things. Tonight he was Mr. What You Need coach. You mentioned he hit the first 3 that kind of got us out of our little slump. And that was when the second half we saw it glaringly change as far as the flow. But at the end of the first half, when he made that first 3 ball, I felt like it kind of got the monkey off their back and they all kind of settled in and they started stringing possessions together. They were slowly cutting at the lead. It wasn't like with the second half where it's like they got the lead and they're taking off. But in the first half, you saw signs that they were going to try to continue this half or the end of this half to the beginning of the second half. You just kind of saw it was a shift. It wasn't a big thing, but if you were watching the pace of the game and how guys were looking, it just looked like, okay, they have something here they can build on and get going to the second half. And that was because of that first shot he made. So on both sides of the ball, once again, he just does what he always does, man. We talked about him playing big. He was holding off a lot of big, like he was holding off Paolo. He was holding off Wendell Carter under the rim to prevent, he was boxing out, preventing bigger guys from getting the offensive rebound and holding them to one shot. And he's 6'5", but once again, he plays so much bigger than he is and he battles. So even little things like that, just boxing guys, being willing to throw his body around, get his nose in there and box out guys who are much bigger than him, who are heavier than him, and still be to keep them off the glass. That's an effort thing.
Yep.
That's a Mr. What You Need coach thing, right?
Yep.
So I want to give him credit because he's just that Swiss Army knife. And that's why he's able to find himself on the floor because he's a connector and he does a little bit of everything very, very well.
Yeah,
exactly, Kevin. He was a part of the reason why they were only down 7 at exactly. It was just, you would see them just kind of chipping away at the lead. It was double digits, like 12, and so you go to 9, back up to 10, down to 8. You just saw them slowly chipping at it, but it happened after he made that 3 ball, and they got the monkey off their back, and he settled in. So yeah, I like what I saw from Move for sure.
Yeah,
anything else on him?
Nope.
Let's keep it pushing. Let's go, guys, now to Ron Holland, guys. Lil Ron tonight had 11 points on 4 for 9 shooting overall. 0 for 4 from 3, couldn't knock it down. 3 for 4 from the free throw line. 3 boards, 2 assists, 1 turnover, and a steal in 26 minutes. That's more than I think I've seen him play in a while, boss, but I'm not mad at it. What'd you see from Lil Ron, Dot Pound Jr.?
Same. I'm glad that he got more minutes. This is something we discussed last game when he didn't have a lot. And we were like, well, I hope he gets more on Sunday. And he absolutely did. And he played more than LeVert. LeVert didn't come in till later on.
It was a little late, wasn't it? Yeah.
We saw him go out in the second, and we didn't see him for a while. So I think JB is still also, and that's kind of when he turned it on. He kind of needed a slow roll today too, which has happened in the last few games. But anyways, Ron looked great. Of course, the hustle was there. In the second, he had a great drive to score. He just drove right into Mo Wagner's chest.
Loved it.
And he had great cut. He had multiple great drives and a few good cuts. He bothered the inbound pass. After he missed a couple threes, which again, that's kind of when they were all shooting threes in the first, so I wasn't too mad about it.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, I just want people to get to the paint, and Ron started to do that. He had a couple. He caught a couple balls on the perimeter later in the game and chose to drive it to the basket or at least drive it in, and those worked out much better for him. He got to the free throw line more, not more often than Cade tonight, but barely. But he got there before Cade a couple times. Like he got his shot. I feel like if his shot didn't go in at the basket when he drove, he got the benefit of the whistle a couple times. So, he just looked really good. And I mean, what more can you ask him? I mean, he's always just a solid. His hustle came in. The energy he brought the energy to help us finish the half strong. He brought the energy to help us maintain and get the lead early. It's another game with a steal. I feel like he had more, but I feel like
it did feel like it, didn't it? Yeah, I agree.
The box score doesn't even give him justice for what was out there. He was disruptive. He had great defense. Only 3 fouls, which is, always good for Ron. I think he had some fouls early. I think like 2 early, and then he'll only pick up 1 again later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was good. Great.
Let's get to some quick comments on Ron. Mike said, "Did you hear JB's pregame comments on Ron having to shoot the ball when they leave him open?" Yep, and that's what I've been saying. Like King has talked about the importance of him driving to the hoop, and I've talked about the importance of him just shooting the ball when it's there, right? Because in order for you to have those driving lanes, you got to make them respect you. You got to make them respect you. They're not going to close on you. They're going to leave you there. They're not going to close on you. So if you try to drive, you're just driving right into them, which you can do, but it's a lot easier to be able to get a quality shot when they're closing out because they respect your jump shot. So when you're open, you got to shoot it. I don't care if he's open for it, because once again, I still have him as a positive in this game.
Right.
Because of what he brought everywhere else, like the rest of the team, right? It's all indicative. He's a microcosm of the entire team. Yeah. Exactly. Right. So
I was just going to say his corner threes, which have been the ones that he just they've been closer and closer. He was airballing those for a while.
He had one tonight. I did see. He had an airball tonight.
But they're getting closer and closer in. One of them was even in and out at one point. Yeah. So they're getting there, and that's where he's going to be open. If the corner is where they're going to leave him open, then might as well, keep shooting so that you can, we've seen him. We saw him hit a couple in a row the other day. It's just kind of up and down. But yeah, I mean, he'll definitely. I think by especially this season, it's a hard watch at first, but if you keep giving him those and he keeps taking those opportunities, even by playoffs or in a few weeks, he could be developing a little bit more of a rhythm in that corner three to at least allow him to go in the game.
Exactly. You got to get the in-game reps, bro. So just keep shooting it. Keep shooting it. G. Laval says Ron is only 20 when he's 24. Bro, that's the thing. Like these guys are still nowhere near their ceilings, and we're in first place comfortably, 6-game lead. So if shooting is the only issue, we're fine. We're in good. We're not like it's not like we're one of the worst shooting teams in the league, and we're trying to get into a play-in because we just don't have a high ceiling. Like we're in first place, man, and we're shooting terrible right now, and we're still winning by 14, 15 points. Yeah. So let's just let it ride. Let's hope. Rely on this shooting to get better while still sticking to who we are instead of trying to change who we are by bringing in somebody who can shoot. Because now you're just kind of balancing the scales. And then also go ahead.
Off-season will be a different story. We're focusing on this season right now. Yeah. Like I said, I do think that Trajan and JB and even these guys, they kind of know what's coming a little bit. They have their plans, but
I can guarantee you, whoever they do bring in is going to be somebody like the scorer. If they bring a scorer in or whatever, it's going to be somebody who can at least bring you average defense.
it
ain't going to be no cone. I don't care how good of a shooter they are, how good of a scorer they are. If they're going to be that important to this team with their offense, they got to at least bring it defensively. They're not going to be able to compromise our defense. I don't care how much better we get offensively with one guy. If they're that important, it means they're going to be in the court a lot. So if they're in the court a lot, they can't compromise our defense. So you can get, I can pretty much guarantee whoever they bring in that's of note, that's of importance, that's going to play a lot and be impactful, is going to at least be a solid defender and probably above average defender.
I don't see us selling high for, or, like giving away a lot of picks or some of our young guys, players for anybody that can't play two-way fully. I think even if we had an opportunity for a great shooter that is, lacks on defense, we still wouldn't, offer the house, because our defense from all of these guys, all of them, our defense from all of them what has led to our, top of the East, because the shooting's not it. We can all agree on that. So.
And Doug says, look, that's why we've always heard Zach LaVine in trade talks and it never happened. Yeah. That's why that's not going to happen. That's the hope. That's why they're not getting these guys. You can't compromise your defense just for better offense. It's a lateral move. It's a lateral move. You get better shooting, but your defense suffers. So you're still right about here. It's got to be somebody who's going to raise your floor and bring it on both sides, but who can just give you more on offense. That's what we need. So let's get to one more comment. Kevin says, Wu and Ron, the bigger Lindsey and Mike James on defense. Yep. That's why we've been calling them the Grit Bulls for so long. That's why they are the Grit Bulls, because that is exactly what they're bringing. They're just bigger. They're just bigger. I see a lot of Mike James and Javonte Green too, low key. As far as being a bigger guy, he's not quite as tall as Wu, but Mike James also could shoot the basketball if you leave him open. He also could turn you over. He also was a great defender, and he give you a little offense here and there too. So that's why we call them the Grit Bulls. 2.0, Lindsey Hunter and Mike James are Ron Holland and Javonte Green. All right, guys, let's go ahead and leave it there. Actually, no, we're not going to leave it there. I got some more stuff to say about Ron in this game. So for me, boss, two things stood out for me and Ron in this game.
Okay.
We know the shooting is not consistent. We get that, right? It's a work in progress. We just talked about that at length. But I love how unselfish of a player he is, because we know he likes to get to the hoop, and that's something he's really improved last year, is just his decision-making. Last year, he wowed us with his acrobatic finishes and being able to get to the rim through traffic. But he's really become more unselfish. Like Javonte Green doesn't hit that first three to make us 1 for 16 if Ron doesn't make that extra swing pass. Yeah, the ball had to get to Green. It got there because Ron was on the break and he made the extra pass to get Javonte Green a better shot. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal, because that doesn't happen without it. And I think Ron understood in that moment he wasn't shooting it well. So I can give my guy who's a pretty good shooter a better shot. I'm doing it. That's what team guys do. That's what Ron Holland is. He's a team guy. He's always looking to make the right play. And the second thing is that I think he's going to be talking about Ausar a lot, and rightfully so. I think Ron has the ability to be a clamper defensively in this league. I think he can be a defensive lock, the same in a different way, but still having the same impact. Once boss figures out exactly how this game is officiated, once he understands what he can and cannot get away with, right? Because we see now he makes really good plays defensively, and then we'll see him followed up with some cheap fouls. Just a little bit too physical, just a little bit too handsy, just pushing the edge a little bit too far. We know that is his edge as far as just bringing a little extra. But once he learns how to toe that line to where he's not getting called for those fouls, he's like those calls, when those are replaced by steals and run out dunks and stops, is when you're going to see him go to that next level. Because he is already, even from last year, he's getting better with that. Oh my God, Devin. We've said that since last year. We've seen him guard smaller guys, consistently, routinely, even last year, guarding the Peyton Pritchards, guarding the Tyrese Maxeys, guarding the McConnells, guarding the Halliburtons. Like, he can guard guys who were smaller than him. He's got very quick and he's light on his feet. So once he figures out the whistle, and that's going to come with time, he's got to learn the whistle. He's got to learn who's officiating. This guy, okay, I can do a little bit more, not so much with him. He's really super happy with, once he learns the game from playing it here long enough at the NBA level, and he learns what he can and can't get away with while still bringing that physicality, towing that line, it's going to be even more hectic and even tougher for guys, more daunting to even get shots up. And if him and Ausar can both improve their 3-point shooting, those guys together on both sides of the basketball, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's going to be scary. That's going to be scary. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But we're already seeing with Ron, like once he figures that out, because the ability is there. Now it's how can I do it effectively every time down the court? When that happens, it's wraps.
Yep. And if Ausar keeps attacking the basket like he is and attempting those mid-range, and if Ron's getting at least one of those or a couple of those threes to fall, then they can stay on the court even longer and have an even bigger impact on both ends.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. So yeah, I love what I'm seeing from Ron, man. Let's get some quick comments, guys. Ron is definitely not a problem, not at all. Real quick, yes, Doug. We're working on that now as far as the Isaiah Stewart donation, the numbers. We're gonna have those for you guys by Tuesday. You guys, it's a lot. Y'all really came through for sure. So we want to make sure we're accurate and everything. But go ahead, boss.
Exactly. We're just accuracy. Kind of just a busy weekend for me tonight. So I just want to make sure that everything is correct. That I'm shouting everyone out that donated, because we definitely exceeded some expectations. I'm excited to get those numbers for you guys. So we will have those for the Tuesday post game.
100%. Appreciate that, Doug, for that reminder. Any more Ron comments? Let's see. Love our team. No need to see Ron shoot 3-point shots. He's a slash. Well, here's the thing, Marvin. He has to. If he's open, he has to. Otherwise, the paint is always going to be clogged. Like Fred Vincent isn't working with him for no reason. You can't do all his work in practice and not get shots up. The goal is for him to eventually be to knock him down. So you got to be able to do it outside of practice. And you got to make the defense respect you. That's how you have more cleaner lanes for Cade and Daniss Jenkins to be able to get to the rim. Because you got guys in perimeter who are respecting and staying attached to a guy like Ron Holland. So you just need to have that. That also encourages ball movement when you can shoot the ball, because now you can put it on the floor and you can make them have to rotate. So you have to shoot it when it's there. I don't care how many times he misses it. He's able to stay on the floor because of his defense to where he's not a negative. So keep shooting the basketball. 100% keep shooting the ball. Build your confidence, because we know on the other end, you're going to do something right. So I'm definitely happy with Ron in this game. He didn't shoot well. I don't care. Keep shooting it. Keep bringing the intensity defensively. Keep running that whistle, and you're going to be a really good player. 100%. Exactly. All right, boss. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to Paul Reed. Paul Reed in this game, guys. Paul Reed had 5 points on his only shot. Took one shot. He made it. 3-4 from the free throw line. 6 boards. 1 turnover and 1 block for Paul Reed in 14 minutes. What did you see?
Yeah, so he had a huge stretch in the third that really impacted this game and really kept the momentum going. He had an offensive rebound to score. Then he drew an offensive foul on the other end, and then he had a block on Mo Wagner.
Yeah.
So he just had some big moments in that aspect. He was fighting for rebounds. He was always aggressive. So yeah, not the prettiest box score, but he's 1 of 1. So here's 100%.
What a looking score
tonight. Yeah. And he missed his first free throw, but then made the rest for the game. He was still aggressive. He only played 14 minutes. Again, like, this is a position but I'm excited. I'm glad that we've gotten to see a lot of B-ball. I'm excited for is that when Stu returns and B-ball is again, kind of the third option, he's going to come in and bring energy too. I think that's like, he's one of those guys, just like Ron. Like, I have no doubt that Ron can start a game and play very well.
For sure.
But sometimes just the energy that these guys can bring off the bench is huge. And I think B-ball will help that. Even if Stu played in our starting lineup, B-ball will continue to bring that intensity. He hasn't had his most spectacular games box score wise, but the effort is always there. His ability to just come out and play tough basketball and 6 rebounds in 14 minutes.
That's why, Paul is like 6 rebounds.
Yeah, just like B-ball Paul, or just like Javonte Green, 8 rebounds in 18 minutes. Like that's, that's just crazy.
Not all just shooting, man.
Yeah, exactly. And he just really had a great game, just in terms of being another spark off the bench and having that huge third quarter momentum to keep us in the lead and not really, give anything easy back to the Magic.
I don't think I've ever seen a game where I felt like B-ball Paul was lacking in energy or lacking in effort. I don't think I've ever seen a game with him where he played great, Not where he was super duper impactful every single time, which he usually is 90% of the time. But every time he's in the game, he's trying, he's giving 100% like it's game 7. Every single game. So, and that's just so infectious. That's so infectious. So for him to be as talented as he is, while still doing that, it goes back to just the mindset, because it takes a lot of energy and effort to crash the glass, to get offensive rebounds, to challenge shots, to do things that don't stand out in the box score. It's hard to do those things consistently when you know you can do a bunch of things that do affect the box score offensively. So once again, it's just like Kevin said, it's a luxury to have a guy like that you know is better than their third guy every time when they come into the game. So I love it. I don't have much to say about him. It's just refreshing to see his consistency. Game. That's why I love guys like him, guys like Ron, guys like Javonte, because they just always bring it every game, every single game. If the starters aren't playing great, you are kind of sometimes counting down the seconds till one of those guys come in because we need a spark. So yeah, exactly. He just plays good defense. He plays hard. He's a good defender, really defender. Go ahead.
This is what we both kind of want on Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. GVA says, gotta see B-ball with minutes versus Allen and Mobley with Stu coming back. Show something different and let Tolu give Mobley some love taps. I love it. I do hope Tolu was brought up, because that way, if you are in foul trouble, you got a fourth big you can go with. And it's exactly GVH. That's why I want to see Stu and JD to make sure that we're having at least 2 bigs in the game at all times the way they do. Because we saw last game was a struggle when we didn't have that.
And B-ball Paul, but remember last game too, B-ball Paul didn't have a lot of minutes against the Cavs. Like, he had more minutes tonight.
Right. He should have had more foul. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
I'm not sure what that is, but I do agree that like maybe that will be the game plan on Tuesday, is to hopefully play 3 bigs on a rotation to have 2 bigs on the floor as long as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm hoping to see that for sure, because I hate seeing, plays where we're just like outsized, because those aren't things we're used to seeing. That's not how we play. Our size is our strength. That's why we have so many paint points every game. And so it's just hard to watch this team sometimes just kind of get dominated at times in the paint just because we're not big enough, which is why, to your point, I want to see B-ball Paul play more, because he's bigger, he's stronger now. He can kind of go at those guys a little bit harder and hold his ground much better. So I'm hoping we see JD and Stu. We probably won't. Probably gonna still see Tobias at the 4. But I just hope if we do, I want to see Stu at the 9-minute mark. Like I want to see him and JD often, which means I hope we get to see B-ball Paul to kind of continue and pass that baton on to him and just keep that same flow going. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Anything else on B-ball Paul?
Nope, that's all.
All right, man. Well, listen, guys, let's look ahead for a second. We talked about it earlier, boss. But as we mentioned, the Pistons is coming Tuesday. They play the Cleveland Cavaliers for the final time this year in their last matchup of the year. And hopefully this time around, guys, both teams are at full strength, so we can get a clearer picture of what both teams really look like. We know last game there were guys out. And just the whole last week, it was a lot of guys out for teams. Yeah. I'm not really a fan of that. I like to see, at some point, you got to roll the ball out and just hoop. Like all this kind of hiding behind and trying to scout, and you don't want to give them an edge by playing all your guys in case y'all do lose and they ain't got their guy. Like, fine. But at some point, I want to see both teams at full strength and see, like, it's time for me. It's time for barometer time. It's measuring stick time for some of these teams. I want to see no asterisks, no what ifs, no. Everybody was available. We beat y'all.
That's like, that's like, you see online, well, they don't want to play their stars against the physical Pistons. We're not diving at legs. We're not hurting people.
Right. And we're not getting hurt either. Like from this to play.
Like, and you don't want to, okay, well, I guess we'll see you in the playoffs and play physical. I don't know. And the other thing is like, well, we don't want them to know our schemes. We've beaten you with your stars already this season. So, and we don't even have our full team. So it's going to be fun. And then I just was looking at that full schedule, but it seems like after these next 2 games, it kind of evens out. We start to play some teams that are closer to 500 or below 500. I'm not saying, obviously we've lost to our fair share of bad teams. That's not a lot, like the Wizards, but we've been closer in games to some worse, not so great teams than we should have. It's still a basketball game, and it's still to close them out. But this was definitely our hardest stretch of the year, and it's almost done.
Sure.
And we went 6-1 without Stu. We barely beat the Cavs, but we get our rematch. The Spurs, we were only lost to by 10, and we were having a terrible shooting night. So if we can carry because what's different from last game is the last 7 minutes, the last 3 or maybe 7 to 8 minutes, last 3 minutes of regular time, and then the 5 minutes of OT was good basketball. But like we played a great second half. We looked much more like us this second half of basketball in tonight's game. And so I'm hoping that rhythm and finding that, because this is kind of what it feels like, that's what they've been looking for all week, and they found it. So hopefully now that they found it, it's going to just translate a lot better to the next few games. So I'm looking forward to them. They're going to be fun. And I mean, I can't believe it's March already. We have 6 more weeks of basketball, guys. And then it's 6 more weeks of regular season basketball, which is crazy.
I'm really excited, boss. I mean, just a couple weeks ago when we were hot, we were still right at the, 5 games up on who's second, Boston or whoever. But this stretch was looming. This stretch where we're in right now was looming. And it was just a lot of people were questioning, our schedule's been kind of light. We haven't really played any top teams in the Western Conference. How's that gonna look? We were all saying it. We were all like, okay, this is gonna be an important stretch. We weren't doubting. We were like, we're gonna see what we're made of during the stretch. And we're not through it yet. But I think we have enough of a sample size to see that we can play with anybody.
Yep.
And we can beat anybody. And we did this without Stu. Nobody expected when we were saying that, like, it's going to be a tough stretch. This is before Stu even got suspended. Yeah. We were like, man, this is going to be a tough stretch, man. I don't know how we're going to do. If we go 500, that would be cool. 6-1 without him is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Tough stretch because we are being like, we have a tough stretch. I'll just be happy if we win some. And now, we're winning and we're finding reasons why we don't like the win, which is so valid. That's what we're here for. We're not just be like, good game, we won. It doesn't matter. So we do the same thing with losses. We don't just be like, on to the next. We talk about it. But just brings back into like, we got through the hard stretch. Still number 1 in the NBA. Exactly. So I think OKC won tonight. Boston and Sixers are still going at it. So I don't know about them. But I honestly don't care, because right now it seems like the way that we're rolling, it would take a lot. It would take quite the crumbling to lose our first place spot right now.
Oh man, there's no way.
Everybody else is competing for this higher marking.
Second place.
Yeah. Also, I want to say we've made it to not only have we made it to the playoffs like last year and this year, but we've avoided the play-in. I don't want we were a 6 last year, and that's impressive because the play-in is hard. Like, I think it's 7 and 8, and then 9 and 10, and then you lose though. It's like a roundabout table. Like, you have two games, and if anything goes wrong, so the play-in teams are always interesting to see who comes out of there.
Because the 10 teams are pretty much set. If you guys check the standings, I don't think Milwaukee is gonna move up. I think the 10 teams in the East are set as far as the playoffs and the play-in. It's just a matter now of jockeying and who's going to end up where.
Milwaukee could. I think they're only a couple games, so they could do it. They could do it, but I don't see them coming out of the play-in. Basically,
I don't think they'll because I don't think they'll beat Atlanta. I don't think they'll catch Miami. I don't think they'll catch Charlotte, who's streaking right now.
But the Sixers might drop below to the play-in, and.
Because we're like 6 right now. I think 6 right now.
Yeah. And we have them coming up. So they're going to be playing for something. They're going to be playing to avoid playing.
For sure.
Like we did last year. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, we'll have kind of a look. And me and Deuce, we just hope that, if the Hornets make it through their 7th, so they play the Celtics or Knicks, and any of those teams can be knocked out for us.
Yeah.
But I don't want them first. I don't want
them. It's like the Hornets.
Yeah.
The Hornets, maybe after there's not many teams who I just don't want to see in the first. I feel like we're going to win our first round matchup regardless, but I'm not trying to go through hell in the first round. That's the thing for me. Yeah, right. And I feel like the Charlotte Hornets could be that team, maybe other than Boston, who I think could be the toughest matchup that we could. We won't see Boston, but that's the toughest team I think outside of Boston that is in the Eastern Conference going into the playoffs at the right time. Because they're peaking right now and they're confident
Agreed. And they could be our Eastern Conference final matchup. But everyone else is kind of the Hornets guys. I just want to say,
good, man.
January 1st, the top 3 players who have made the most threes are LaMelo Ball, Con Knipple, and Brandon Miller. They're all on the same team. Yep. And they've had the most threes since the new year. Yep. I don't like that.
Gotta start playing defense too.
I obviously think it would be a fun matchup. I obviously think we could beat them just like we have. I think we have a little bit. They're also a young team, but I think we slightly out vet them in terms of playoffs and the kind of pressure experience for sure. But like you said, it'd be exhausting. It would I don't want to wear us out in the 7-game first round. I would like, I don't see us.
Like, granted, we're still young. It's not like we're an older team and we're not going to be able to get to the finish line to play. But still, I don't want us to have to go through all that in the first round against a hungry team. We're probably going to be looking for a little revenge, considering all things considered, which we would too, right? We're not going to let up either. But they're playing. Yeah, like Frank, I'm with you, bro. Like, I think they're going to be higher than 8. I don't think they're going to be in the play-in.
Yeah.
I don't think the Hornets, I think they're like 9 or 10. I think the way they're playing right now and how kind of fragile those playing and records are right now with those teams. I think they're gonna jump 3 or 4 teams at least.
I think they're in
we'll
7
see.
right now, so they're close to getting.
They were at 9. I think a text yesterday said they're at 9 as of yesterday. So,
okay.
But I could see them getting there in the next week or two for sure.
Let me check real quick for you guys. Without the outcome of tonight's game with the Celtics yet. The Hornets, so they're 10th.
Okay.
But the Bucks are 3 games behind them. So you're right about that. But they're only a half a game behind 9th. And both Magic and Heat are both at 14. So the Hornets are a game and a half, 2 games behind, 2 games behind 7 and 8. So they can, and the Sixers are 2 games ahead in 6. So the Sixers could drop down. But I do think the Hornets could move up as well. So
they're playing well right now, man. They're playing well right now. So I'm not afraid of anybody. Don't get it twisted. I ain't afraid of nobody in the East. I think, if everybody's healthy and we're playing right, we're coming out of the East. I really feel like that right now, despite not having the shooting. This is why, once again, the shooting isn't always the most important thing, because we're doing all this, haven't had it all year, and we're still 5 games up on second place. Yeah. So it's not everything. You can always get better, but it's not as glaring and important as I think a lot of people have tried to make it seem once we get to the playoffs. Because they got to match up against us too. They got to deal with our physicality too. They got to deal with our defense every night too. So they got to play us, not just we got to play them. So our style has not changed all year, and it hasn't mattered. It hasn't been like teams have made adjustments to our physicality and they can't deal with it. They just can't deal with it.
Right.
So over a 7-game series, team's going to be sore. Team's going to be beat up while all year we're playing the same way. They're not used to that. So that's why the shooting isn't as important this year as everybody's trying to make it, boss.
Yeah. And so, it's Magic, Heat, Hawks, and Hornets, and Sixers I'll throw in because they're 6 and not too far ahead. So any of those guys can come out of the play-in, and we want the 8th place. We would have the 8th place team.
Okay. Yep.
So
we'll see. It's going to be a fun finish. 23 more games to go. So wait, we are 45 and 14, right? So so 23 games. So we need to go 15 and 8 to get to 60. 15 and 8 to get to 60. I wanted to get to this comment really quickly, and we can call it a night. Let's see. Our magic number GVH is 17. 17, bro. Doug said that earlier. As far as losses and wins, getting help from other teams. And and it was one more comment I want to get to. I can't find it now.
I think if the
15 and 8. Go ahead.
If the Celtics fall, it'll be 16 to clinch the first.
Okay.
They were up by 10, and the Sixers are only down by 6 right now with over 3 minutes left to go.
Okay. Last thing. This is not a little bit off topic a little bit, but Kevin Huerter, he didn't play tonight, boss. For Billups 90 says, why is Huerter getting no minutes? He needs to get in the rhythm, y'all. All we talk about is needing shooting. We have several that don't play. Sasser, Huerter, Lanier. Like, come on, man. I'm not mad, bro. It's like, but we're still winning games. It's kind of hard to figure out where to put him, especially when Caris is doing these things defensively that he's doing. I'm not saying you're wrong as far as giving him a shot, but we gotta start getting to a mode of we're consistent with our rotations. Guys are getting consistent minutes playing together, so that way there's not a ton of mistakes in the playoffs. And with him just getting here a few weeks ago to the team, not because it's not like he just hasn't played all year, but he's been here and he's been able to learn and practice. He just got here. So that's a lot, I think, with where we are this late in the season to say, can we consistently rely on him being locked in with these guys on both ends when the playoffs, every possession matters. So I think that's kind of part of the reason. I don't know what's going to happen. I would have liked to see him kind of worked in earlier than at this point, But
Agreed.
at this point, I don't know if they're going to do that just because of that. And then once again, if Caris is giving you this defensively and he's giving you something offensively, like in transition, they may just decide to go with that. But we'll see. Any thoughts on that, boss?
The Pistons need to do what the team needs to do right now is get off to great starts so that some of these guys have opportunities to come in. It's just been too close. They haven't had any like substantial leads where we can experiment with some people and things like that. I think that it is kind of glaring that Huerter wasn't brought in because we thought that he would be better than Ivy. I think Huerter was brought in because Jaden Ivey was ready for a fresh start elsewhere. And that Huerter, you know, his contract, the way it's designed and ending will be beneficial offseason as well. So I don't think we will see a lot of him. What I do love from him is when they do show him on the bench, he's in it, he's standing, he's cheering. People have said that he's a great locker room guy. So I would like to see some more of him just because, you know, he is on our team now and it would be nice to see what he can produce and maybe his 3-point shot does magically come back. But I think all we have to do is ask our team to, you know, get a good lead and get in a good rhythm so that we can kind of throw some other guys in there and see what they can do. Right now, JP is just letting the guys kind of figure it out amongst themselves because these challenges right now, they're challenging, but we're still overcoming them and winning them. And that's exactly what we're going to have to do in the playoffs. Is overcome some slumps and some things as well. Like throughout the game, I would say, not overall, like throughout the playoffs, but in game time, the teams are going to go on runs or something to fight for. Yeah. They're going to figure out your weaknesses and you play them 7 times in a row, which means that by the 7th, you could play them up to 7 times in a row. Which means by the 7th game, they know you. And so then if they know you, what's your move? So I would like to see Huerter. So I do agree with that. But I think with some of these games coming up, I definitely think we're going to see them towards the end of the season, the last few weeks or the last 2 or 3 games, to rest some of our guys. I don't think we're not going to be a team that rests. Like, I don't think Cade's going to be benched the whole game. I don't. I think maybe the last game, because that's what it was last year. But you want, like, I think that we've seen us come off of breaks and not be in rhythm. I think we kind of need that momentum too. But I think that's when we'll see some of these guys. And depending on how they show out those games, they could be a secret weapon for us in the playoffs too. Yeah,
it's rest over rust. It's the conversation that we've heard about for years, right? You don't want to be so rested that you're out of rhythm when you actually get back onto the court. So I'm with you. That's why I don't think, and this is a young team. So it's not like we need to save these guys, because they got a ton of mileage, a ton of tread, you know what I mean? So it's just like, so I just think that we could still see these guys late in the season, at least in the beginning of games. At least 20 minutes a game, the last few games of the season, just to keep them in a lather, just to keep them in the rhythm, right? But at the same time, there will be chances for guys like, I think, Huerter to get opportunities to get some reps with these guys late in the season. That's why having a 5.5 game league is so important right now, because our magic number can come a lot sooner than we've been expected, and we don't have to get these games because our spot is secured. So we'll see. I think towards the end of the season, get a better look of what it might look like. But as of right now, that's why I think he's not playing right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys, we'll call it a night, man. It's been a great show with you guys per usual. We're looking forward to getting back with you guys. It's Tuesday. But listen, man, we appreciate you guys showing out as you guys always do. Make sure, as usual, you guys go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe if you are new, man. So hope you guys have a great night. The weekend has come to a conclusion, but we're back at it on Tuesday. So have a great night, guys. And y'all know the drill, man. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
All the dirty work, all dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot, and I'ma be physical with you the whole game. Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear you're ashamed. Talking that shop, you must want this way. Tryna tell ya, if the dog palm mess around, find out, if the dog palm mess around, find out, for some barbecue sauce. Boy, you better cop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're ready for some barbecue sauce. Boy, you better cop a hill, cause I'm like that. Mess around.